Salam everyone, Jazakallah for joining. Today we have a special guest, Shaykh Ahyan Yoonas. Shaykh Mohammad Ahyan Yoonas is a native of Atlanta, Georgia, where he began his Islamic educating by completing Hifz at Masjid Omar bin Abdul Aziz. Pursued his Alimiyyah studies at Tibyan Seminary and later at DarusSalam Seminary, for which he graduated in 2023. He subsequently earned a master's degree in Islamic Texts with a concentration in Islamic Law from Zaytuna College. Deeply committed to community education, Ahyan has regularly delivered seminaries, intensives, and lectures across the Atlanta area. His intellectual interests center on Usul, al-Figh, Kalam, philosophy, and Islamic Intellectual History. Jazakallah Shaykh Ahyan for coming today.
Hello, thanks for having me. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. I can get started right now, right?
Yes.
Yes. Bismillah, alhamdulillah, wa salatu wa salamu ala rasulillah wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa man wala. اللهم افتح لي أبواب رحمتك وانشر علينا رحمتك يا ذا الجلال والإكرام وصلى الله وسلم على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه الكرام ولا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم أما بعد. Alhamdulillah, it's been a wonderful Ramadan so far. I think in this series you guys have mashallah benefited from great mashayikh, and there's not really much I can say that can top off mashallah this amazing series. But as the title suggests, inshallah, I'll just mention a few advices that our mashayikh mentioned regarding as Ramadan comes to a close. These are the final few moments, the final few couple of days that are remaining, last couple of nights, depending on when the moon is sighted. And these are moments of muhasabah, of reflection. When we reflect on the purpose of the month of Ramadan, when we reflect on why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala brought this month to begin with, He says, لَعَلَّكُمْ تَتَّقُونَ, to bring taqwa. And taqwa is such a quality that has permanence to it. It's not something that's, a temporary high. Taqwa is something that a person inculcates, he develops, that is present within, that carries over beyond the month of Ramadan. I was thinking earlier today on how, a good parallel to understanding the month of Ramadan. And, I'm going to mention a sports example here because I think it really hits home for me, and I think for many people. Before in sports, before the season starts, there's something they call training camp. And in training camp, the coaches, they push the players to the limits. I mean, you're doing 2, 3, 4, 5 workouts a day. They are, their nutrition has to be on point. Their recovery is on point. And all of this is done why? Why are the coaches pushing the players to this point? Is because when the season starts now, those habits, those qualities carry over. And so now when the season's starting, right now when you're on the field, things slow down. That training carries over. And I think Ramadan in many ways has a similar quality in that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in this month allows us to increase in our a'mal. MashaAllah, many of us, we find ourselves, for many students, waking up in the morning, going to class at 9 o'clock in the morning, without coffee, without water, without breakfast, and mashallah being in class the entire day. And only being in class the entire day without consuming anything, but then standing after Isha Salah for 2 hours in Taraweeh prayers. And then later on in the night, standing for more, doing their own ibadat. Some of them are reading 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ajza of the Quran, increasing adhkar, increasing a'mal, increasing salawat. Ramadan pushed us, right? It pushes us to grow, to really think about what are we capable of doing. And one of the hikmahs of that hit me is that what Ramadan shows you is that this is what you're capable of doing. That you can, mashallah, spend the entire day, go about your day, go to class, at this time and spend the entire day in classes. For those that are working, go to work in the morning, come back in the evening, without having, coffee, without having water, without having breakfast. Then you can stand, mashallah, after Isha, after a full day of work, where normally you would sleep, you can then stand for an hour and a half, 2 hours, subhanAllah, in Tarawih prayers. All of these things are growing, subhanAllah. And one of the hikmahs that hit me just today, I was driving back, was that these are meant to carry over now. If these qualities, if this increase was a temporary mode, meaning Ramadan began, we increase in our amal, and Ramadan ends. And the moment Ramadan ends, we go back to square one. Then the question, it begs the question: what was the point of the month of Ramadan? What was the purpose? Was the purpose simply that Ramadan one, we jump from zero to one or zero to whatever, how much ever we can do, and that we do that throughout the month of Ramadan. And then once Eid ends, we go back to zero, and then we just are continuously in this cycle of Ramadan to Ramadan to Ramadan. Or is the goal, which I understand, was the goal to inculcate qualities and to bring about permanent qualities that transition over? Is that so? Eid is coming. Okay, cool. What are qualities that I increase in the month of Ramadan? Things that brought about real change that I want to prioritize that can go over beyond the month of Ramadan. The same way when we're looking at, a sports team, they go hard in training camp. They're working out, two, three, four times a week, a day. They're doing all of that so that when the season starts, right? And in this case, when Shaitan is back on the field after the month of Ramadan, um, that training carries over. Right? That the extra effort that you had put in will then carry over in the form of habits, in the form of a different perspective. And so, in these last few moments of the month of Ramadan, we ask Allah first and foremost that He forgives us for not utilizing the month to its fullest extent. Ameen ya rabbal alameen. And secondly, we ask Him that He allows us to see more Ramadans in the future and to benefit from the Ramadans. But the question, the muhasabah that all of us need to do, including myself at this moment, is write down all the things that we were able to accomplish in the month of Ramadan. All the things and be generous. I was able to, read this many ajza of Quran. I was able to, mashallah, go to Tarawih prayers this many days. I was able to, do this much tahajjud, do this much qiyam, whatever it may be. Write down whatever we were able to do. And now reflect that before the month of Ramadan, I was at this point. In the month of Ramadan, Allah allowed me to increase all of these things. And as such, what did I feel? What was my spiritual state? Did I feel more connected? Was there more khushu in the salah? Did I cry when Jannah and Jahannam were being mentioned? Was there any change that I felt, right? Did I feel myself being more cognizant of, where my eyes are wandering? What did I feel myself being more aware of where I was spending my time, if I was scrolling too much? What were the changes? What were the things that you start feeling that started occurring within the month of Ramadan? And now you're saying, okay, which one of these do I prioritize? Because ideally, we want all of them to transition over and then to build upon that. But but we need to begin with what is the most. We need to give priority. So, what is priority one? What is priority two? What is priority three? So, I'll give you three examples. The first that many people have mentioned, in the masjid, we were talking about this the other day, is many people, subhanAllah, in the month of Ramadan, Allah gave them the ability, they were able to pray all 5 times Salah in the masjid. A great gift that Allah gave them, that they were able to, and they really pushed themselves to make sure that they were there in the masjid, first row, for all 5 prayers. MashaAllah, Allahumma barik. But now that needs to be prioritized after the month of Ramadan. Okay. Okay, I was able to go for 5 times a day in the month of Ramadan. Eid comes, you know, life is gonna get busy. You're gonna get caught up again with whatever's going on. But I need to prioritize. You tell yourself, I need to prioritize that I need to go to the masjid this many amount of days, this many amount of times a day. And you set that number. And that's a non-negotiable number. For many people, it might be just once a day. But once you set that number, that I'm going to go to the masjid at least once a day, that is a non-negotiable. That is a non-negotiable number that you will be in the masjid. Doesn't matter if it's snow, if it's rain, doesn't matter if whatever's happening. Your non-negotiable is that I want to transition. I want to carry this habit of mine, just praying salah in jama'ah in the masjid, post the month of Ramadan, and that's something I'm never going to negotiate on. We should begin with one salah, it becomes two, it becomes three. And the beauty of it is that you start building a ta'alluq, a connection with the masjid. I'll give you an example from, a personal anecdote. I had one of our uncles, distant uncles. He was somebody, subhanAllah, who had this habit. May Allah allow us to, to also build this habit as well, where he would go to the masjid every day. He would be there for Fajr, Maghrib, Isha at least. If not, he would be there for all 5 salahs. And this was his habit for years. And I remember seeing this that one time we were traveling away from home, and we got to the destination, and he started looking for masajid. Um, and I asked him out of curiosity in the sense of like why, like, you know, Alhamdulillah, as the Prophet said, that the you can pray Salah anywhere as long as the ground is pure and everything is pure, that you can pray Salah. So I asked him, like, why is there, because it was an urgency. He's like, I need to go to the masjid. And he mentioned to me that something beautiful. He said, if a day goes by without me going to the masjid, he said, I feel that day is incomplete. He said, I feel that day is incomplete. He said, I feel an uneasiness. He said, I have to go to the masjid once a day. There's a sukoon, there's a contentment, there's a barakah that I feel within my day, within myself, within whatever I'm doing, in the masjid, that I have to go at least once, at least for one salah. And subhanAllah, that's what happens. And these are the people that may Allah, make us amongst them. As the hadith says, وَرَجُلٌ قَلْبُهُ مُعَلَّقٌ بِالْمَسَاجِدِ. Of the seven that are protected under the shade of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is a person whose heart is attached to the masjid. So how do you build that quality is that you have to be consistent with it. In the month of Ramadan, yes, there's motivation, there is an excitement. There is a month of Ramadan. Everyone's going to the masjid. People are there, at least for, people are there from Maghrib, Isha. People come for Fajr, mashallah. The Fajr, the masjid is packed. But, the plea that every single, for example, in our masjid, subhanAllah, we were praying Isha Salah, and our Imam, he started doing what he called a Salah fundraiser. And basically, he started asking people to pledge how many salahs are going to come to the masjid and pray there a week. And I was there in the meeting before where they were discussing this, because they were saying, mashallah, like, when you come for Isha Salah in the masjid, it's packed. There's no space to sit. You come for Fajr Salah, mashallah, it's 5, 6 rows, 300 people for Fajr Salah in the month of Ramadan. May Allah bless. And all masajids are seeing this. And the concern in that meeting was, how do we bring these people after the month of Ramadan? How do we make sure that the community is coming after the month of Ramadan? And the way we do it is that we say, okay, every community member, every person, that applies to all people. And I would say specifically for the brothers as well, to sit down and to really say, how many salahs can I do every single day, and stick to it. Any masjid, doesn't have to go to any masjid that's close to you, that's convenient for you, that fits in your schedule. But be consistent with it and build that ta'alluq. That's the one example that I would say it's a priority for many people, and should be a priority for many people. The second thing that comes to mind in the month of Ramadan, to extend the post the month of Ramadan, is our Quran. MashaAllah, in the month of Ramadan, many of us were able to increase our tilawah. MashaAllah, I had people come to me who told me that they're reading 10 just a day. Allahumma barak. I khatam every 3 days. The question is, how much can we extend the post the month of Ramadan? If it's going to go back to zero, then we're stuck in the cycle again of zero, and then 11 months later, when Ramadan comes again, we're going to pick up the Quran again. So write a number, right? Write all this down. Then I'm going to read 5 pages of Quran a day, 10 pages of Quran a day, or juz of Quran a day, whatever it may be. Right? Is it possible for you to take every single thing to the intensity, to the exact amount and quantity that you're doing in the month of Ramadan extended? For many people, they may not be the case. But find a number, find something that you say, I can commit to this, that from this Ramadan to the next Ramadan, I want to build upon this. And for many people, it may just be a few pages of Quran a day. But find time for those few pages, and you stick to it every single day, 5 will become 10, 10 will become 15. That increase will happen. But you have to make azam. What does azam mean? A firm conviction that I am going to do this, and do it. So increasing our Quran is the second thing that comes to mind. That should be on the priority list. Number 3 that comes to mind is fasting. Alhamdulillah, we fasted all 30 days, except all our fasts. I mean, but there are many opportunities outside the month of Ramadan to fast as well. Right after the month of Ramadan, Allah gives us, as hadith mentions, there's the 6 fasts of Shawwal, to keep the momentum going. We have the fasting of Mondays and Thursdays. We have the fasting of the 13, 14, 15. We have the fasting of various different days that come the day of Arafah. In Muharram, we have the fasting. We have so many different opportunities that we can fast on those days as well. And again, let's make it tangible. Find an amount, a particular amount of fasting that you can do. For some people, if you say, I can do Mondays and Thursdays, Allahumma barik, that's amazing. Do Mondays and Thursdays. For some people, if you can only do Thursdays. But find something that I'm going to commit to this. If it's Ayyam al-Bid, if it's the white days, do the white days. Whatever it may be, you were able to do 30 days straight of fasting, subhanAllah. 30 days. And I believe for many people, midterms came across, midterms fell under during the month of Ramadan, which is even more amazing that during midterm season, subhanAllah, you're able to fast, take the midterms, study for the midterms, pass the midterms, and we all, give you all good grades, having of an alameen, and give you success. Um, but we did that for 30 days straight. Now, I'm not saying that, post the month of Ramadan, fast every single day, but find an amount that every month I'm going to fast this many amount of days and make that habit. Make that happen. We have so many opportunities for Sunnah fast. That's the third thing that comes to mind, subhanAllah. Another example that I think we need to prioritize is our athkar. In the month of Ramadan, we were able to increase in our athkar and salawat. But again, it comes down to how much can we commit. Um, and so we sit down and write down that goal. And I think all this stuff, I think I would recommend, inshallah, alameen, that's worked for me previously. And I think what would work is to sit down and actually write this down. Don't type it out. Don't use your laptop. Don't use ChatGPT. Sit down, take a piece of paper and a pen and write this down. And I want to prioritize this, priority one, priority two, priority three, priority four. And give a goal that I'm going to begin with this. That Eid's going to come after Eid. I'm going to begin with this, and by the next Ramadan, I want to be here. Right? That this Ramadan, I accomplish this. And between this Ramadan and the next Ramadan, I want to get to this point. I want to go up this many levels and prioritize those things. If, for example, subhanAllah, a person is able to, let's take the Quran example. He's reading 5 pages per day. And he's saying, by the time I get, for example, he's memorized, let's just say, half of the 30th juz. And he says that by the next time the Ramadan comes around, I want to memorize 5 years of the Quran. Right? Just be ambitious, mashallah. Shoot for the stars, ya Rabbil Alameen. Shoot for the stars with the grace of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But set the goal and say by the next, in the next 11 months, before the next Ramadan comes, I want to have, let's just say, 5 ajza done. That's the goal. And now we work towards it. We work towards it. And now we check in after 2 months. Am I going towards that goal? What's going on with that goal? Am I able to achieve that goal? This is all part of muhasabah. We can't sit there, laid back. We can't be like, oh, Ramadan's going to come. It's going to all begin again. If we do that, we then fall into the trap of where Ramadan has become, in my opinion, in many ways, it's become an aesthetic. Ramadan for many people, it's not about ibadah, it's not about pushing yourself, it's not about growing and worshiping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. For many people, and may also like guide them in us, ya Rabbil Alameen, is that Ramadan has simply become a moment of fun. Obviously, I'm not going to mention certain activities that are being done in this regard, but it's all contributing to a commodification, but for me, more detrimental, which is that Ramadan is being made to be a complete festival of a fun festival of sorts, where Ramadan is being, characterized by the wrong things. When in reality, Ramadan should be characterized by fasting, by standing at night, by reading Quran. Right? Um, and we as individuals, young individuals, need to be at the forefront in setting that narrative. How do we set the narrative? Is we take the month of Ramadan serious in the month, and we take it serious outside the month of Ramadan. Sahaba radiallahu ta'ala anhum was mentioned about them, may also not, be pleased with them, is that they would spend 6 months in preparation of the month of Ramadan. 6 months. And so we need to bring that sunnah back in that Ramadan is going, you know, we were able to do what we were able to do. We ask Allah, He allows us to do, make the most of what's remaining. But now we need to set these priorities. And these priorities are then, what can I do so that this Ramadan was step one, I should say, for many people. I don't want to do step one all over again the next Ramadan. I want to go to step two. How do I go to step two? Here's what I need to prioritize. Priority one, priority two, priority three, priority four. And as we set these priorities, we ask Allah, and He allows us to grow more and more and more and more. the going back to my original point, which was the idea of Ramadan being a moment where we build permanent qualities. It's not simply about just increasing in quantity, but the quality matters. The quality of our Quran, the quality of our Salah, the quality of what we're trying to do. But the reason I brought up qualities, meaning sifat or things that are permanent, as opposed to just simple acts, is because those things transition over. One thing that I was, thinking about the other day, subhanAllah, is that in the month of Ramadan, many people, and it's something that needs to be much more, should be much more present amongst the Muslim community, but unfortunately it isn't. Is that people become a lot more particular about what they're consuming. Uh, I'll give another example from just this Ramadan. I was in Atlanta, and they were having a qiyam night for young Muslims, right? The youth, they were having their own qiyam night, mashallah. So they were there, and in the masjid, subhanAllah, some brother, they were talking about something, and someone mentioned that, yo, can you pull up Instagram? Can you pull up Instagram and show it? And the other brother goes like, no, I'm not going to open Instagram inside the masjid. And to me, subhanAllah, I was like, in the moment that he was cognizant, it's the month of Ramadan. He was worried that I'm not going to do this inside the masjid. I'm not going to do this right now. So it shows us that subhanAllah, even every single normal Muslim, subhanAllah, they become a lot more particular about what they're opening, what they're looking at, what they're reading, what's going on. They start developing what I would understand to be aspects of taqwa. Because taqwa is being conscious, God conscious. And so people become much more conscious of, okay, if I'm on my phone, if I'm scrolling, I don't want to see something that I should not be seeing. If I'm on my phone and I'm listening to something, I shouldn't be listening to that. I should not be listening to something that I shouldn't be listening to. These are conscious things that are developing. And those qualities transition over as well. Again, same thing. If we are very particular in the month of Ramadan to make sure that our eyes are clear, that we've deleted all our social media and everything, and then the moment the month of Ramadan ends, all that comes back, and we're back to ground zero. The quality of taqwa that was developing, the quality of God consciousness that we were developing, that we were being very particular about what we're looking at, how we're consuming things, what we're doing with our time. If we don't continue to keep pushing that same consciousness after the month of Ramadan, and we become easygoing and let our guard down, then we reset the whole thing all over again. And now we're stuck in that cycle. And so post the month of Ramadan, along with increasing our ibadah, as we mentioned before, increasing going to the masjid, increasing going to, reading Quran, increasing our salawat and adhkar, and setting a daily goal that goes, throughout the year. Think about that. When I was in the month of Ramadan, I was very particular about what I was consuming. I was very particular about the media I was consuming. I was very particular about not spending too much time on my phone. But I was very particular on making sure that I was not committing sins. And so that need to be a priority as well. Not only the increase, but also what did I leave? What are the bad habits that I was able to leave or cut down on? And now in these next 11 months till the next Ramadan, I need to make sure that these are cut out entirely. So many people, aid people who are stuck with addictions or those kind of matters. I mean, but the month of Ramadan for many people is a boost. They're able to jumpstart and they're able to cut out many things, and they're able to get on that path of leaving whatever haram or any sort of habits they're in. And so that momentum must carry on post the month of Ramadan, right? Because Shaitan's going to get back on the field. Shaitan's going to get back. The wasawis are going to come again. The temptations are going to come again for whatever it may be, whatever a person may be struggling with. And now it is saying that in the month of Ramadan, I was able to control this. I was able to push against the nafs. And now I need to keep pushing against the nafs. If we don't do that, and a person falls back into where they were before the month of Ramadan with regards to those sins, if, and may Allah protect, worse, they fall even further into that sin, the next time Ramadan comes around, they have to restart the process all over again. And that's what taqwa is. Taqwa is being God conscious. And so when you're in the month of Ramadan and you're abstaining from whatever it may be, when a person is abstaining from social media, they're abstaining from things that may be inappropriate, they're abstaining from listening to music, they're abstaining from scrolling for hours on end. And the moment Eid comes, if they're just going to reset everything and download everything all over again, it really defeats the purpose. If we are able to do in the month of Ramadan, make a commitment to yourself that, okay, I was able to limit my screen time uh, to, let's just say, 2 hours in the month of Ramadan. I'm going to try to keep that habit after the month of Ramadan, that my screen time should not go above 2 hours. It's tough. It's going to be very tough because, again, the Ramadan environment is gone. 'Cause, again, the Ramadan environment is very powerful. SubhanAllah, we were talking about this the other day, speaking to Imam of our masjid, in that when you are able to build an environment in masajid where people love coming together, it motivates one another. But that Ramadan environment only lasts in the month of Ramadan. After the month of Ramadan ends, people get back to their lives, people get back to jobs, to work. It becomes like a normal day. So if we are simply riding on the vibe or the environmental aspect of the month of Ramadan, and we don't really make an effort to make sure that we keep that going after the month of Ramadan, the moment the social environment ends, we will regress back into those habits. And so we need to make that conscious effort that I was able to abstain from these things in the month of Ramadan. The same way I was able to increase in the good aspects, I decreased from the bad aspects, or the nafsi aspects. And so now I need to push that and continue that into the month of Ramadan. And obviously, this goes without saying that a person who's struggling with these things should reach out to a sheikh, to reach out to somebody who's trained in the science, who can help them with their nafs, who can help them with understanding on how to curb whatever temptations, whatever desires, whatever shaitan is throwing at them. Obviously, this goes without saying. We have many great mashayikh on our team, so please reach out if you do want help with that. I have a few moments left. The last thing that I want to mention is that part of this entire process is understanding that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when He revealed the month of Ramadan, when He revealed al-Siyam, al-Quran, these are things that are khas, that are special to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah says that He will reward Siyam. He will personally be the person who rewards the Siyam. And so when we are in the acts of Siyam, in the acts of Quran, the acts of Taraweeh, of Tahajjud, we should show gratitude to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He allowed us to witness another day. He allowed us to see another month of Ramadan, another beloved night of the last 10 nights. How many people do we know, subhanAllah, that Ramadan's just about to come, a few days away, a day away, that Allah takes her life at that moment? How many people do we know? Example after example after example, that hours before the month of Ramadan, hours before Maghrib of Ramadan, night one, they pass away. Right? So Allah has honored us. Allah has gifted us. We are fortunate that we have seen another month of Ramadan. But that gift has a responsibility. And that were we able to utilize this month to its maximum capacity? And we will be questioned. Allah will say that I gave you at the Yawm al-Qiyamah, Allah will say that I gave you 60 Ramadans, I gave you 70 Ramadans, I gave you 50 Ramadans, whatever it may be. I gave you this many Ramadans. What did you do with those Ramadans? I gave you so many chances to say the Laylatul Qadr, to be forgiven for Laylatul Qadr. And what did you do? In these last few moments of the month of Ramadan, we I would recommend everyone here to increase in our dua. Increase in your dua. Ask Allah to forgive you. Ask Allah to forgive the ummah. Ask Allah to help the ummah that they're going through, whatever they're going through in their crisis. And in these moments, understand that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala He's asking, is there is there anyone who's going to ask? And we're saying, Ya Allah, we are here to ask. Ask whatever you want from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Talk to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Show gratitude to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Your dua is the conversation between you and Allah. And so that's the last thing I'll say, that in these last few moments of the month of Ramadan, develop a relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And do that through dua. Talk to Allah in these moments. And then, like always, we said for all the other previous things, every single day, at, for at least 5 minutes, make dua after the month of Ramadan. Doesn't matter if he's there, doesn't matter if life gets busy. Every single day can be right before you go to sleep. You can pray 2 rakat, you can sit there and you make dua for 5 minutes. That's it. And this dua can be about anything. This is you and Allah. That is it. Nobody else should know. Nobody else has to know. And these are the moments where you would develop the relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So of all the things that we made, all the priorities that we have to carry out the month of Ramadan, dua should be in that list as well. Then my goal after the month of Ramadan is that every day for at least 5 minutes, I'm saying bare minimum, mashallah, we should all increase. You can do dua for half an hour, bismillah, bismillah, please do a dua for half an hour. But what I'm saying is set a complete bare minimum that it does not matter what will happen, it doesn't matter what's going on. I will do at least 5 minutes of dua, or I will talk to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. May Allah forgive us and us be people of action. I know these words were deficient. May also, anything that was good that was said is from Allah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's bounty and His fadl. Any mistakes are from my own. I ask Allah to forgives me and He forgives for me here. جزاك الله خير في حسن وصلى الله على محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. جزاك الله خير.